Hello, and welcome to this ME 1000 video tutorial on decision making and teamwork. As you will likely recall from a video lecture earlier this semester, there are a number of challenges any designer faces. As discussed in that video lecture by Dr. Bamberg, design involves the solution of open-ended problems with multiple solutions. Furthermore, the ways you define the problem can determine what types of solutions you will even consider. These distinctions are important because they can be directly applied to the challenges of teamwork. As you work in teams throughout this semester, you will be faced with a number of opportunities to identify problem definitions. This process can sometimes seem foreign as we approach it from a team perspective. However, if you use the introduction to design challenges to understand the role of teamwork, you will hopefully find that teamwork has many of the same goals. You simply work through them differently. Like design decisions, teamwork should be used to generate solutions of open-ended problems with multiple solutions. You will hopefully learn how to work through brainstorming sessions with team members in order to make the best decisions for your team and your design. After you have defined the problem, you will work together to make final decisions. The question then is, how do you make decisions as a team? I will talk briefly about three prominent decision-making strategies. The first strategy is one you are likely to be familiar with: majority rule. In majority rule decision-making, you look at discussions as a democratic process where the greater number of votes wins the discussion. There are certainly times where majority rule can be used appropriately. However, let's look at the other two options before settling on the popular majority rule strategy. Second, and significantly less common, is minority rule decision-making. With the minority rule strategy, you see the idea with the lowest number of votes winning the discussion. Just like majority rule, there are times where this decision-making strategy can be effective, but our hope in ME 1000 is that you try to avoid both majority rule and minority rule strategies. Instead, we encourage you to strive for what is known as consensus decision-making. This strategy is often most effective when working in teams because it requires that the group work together and support each other throughout the decision-making process. With consensus decision-making, any and all ideas that are put on the table should be addressed to the fullest. This will ensure that no idea is left out or underrepresented and will help to ensure you make the best decisions regarding your project. Second, with consensus decision-making, each member of the team must have the opportunity to provide their interpretations of each issue. Again, this is to ensure that the team is fully considering the pros and cons of each potential decision. Ideally, this leads to better, effective, and efficient decisions. And finally, each team member must agree to support the final decisions, even if that decision was not his or her first choice. This is an example of showing team unity throughout the process. The idea is that ultimately, these are team discussions and decisions and not simply individual preferences. To reiterate, our hope is that you will incorporate and take advantage of consensus decision-making in your teams this semester in ME 1000, and likely in many other team environments you find yourself in. There are any number of situations where consensus decision-making can be beneficial to you. Here are just a few situations you might find yourself working through this semester. You'll likely want to utilize consensus decision-making while drafting your team working agreement. You will undoubtedly make a great number of design decisions throughout the semester, and ideally, you'll want to make the most efficient decisions possible. Consensus decision-making is designed to foster that process. And you might find yourself attempting to manage conflict within the team. Having discussions where each individual has a voice is one of the most important ways of making the best of situations of conflict. You'll be working in teams throughout this semester in ME 1000, and you'll find yourself on many more teams in your future, both as a University of Utah engineering student as well as a practicing engineer in industry. Hopefully, you can learn to appreciate the advantages of consensus decision-making as you learn to work in teams. Thank you, and I will see you in class.